Your last paper for ENG 102, Online Composition and Research, is a reflective essay. Let's call it the written selfie. What we're looking for in this essay is for you to reflect on how you've grown or changed or developed over the course of this semester in terms of your written self, as well as the way you do presentations or present yourself. So let's look at these few slides just to get an idea of what the essay should contain. Reflection is rhetorical. You'll see here that it talks about thinking. It talks about practicing. It's a process, understanding what you did in the course to see how you've grown. And that's kind of the purpose of reflection, is to hold up a mirror to yourself based on what has come before, where you are now, and kind of using that mirror to look ahead to see where you're going and how you can take what you've learned with you. So reflect on your progress in the course. And there are 4 questions you should think about as you're organizing the essay that you're going to write. What differences do you notice in yourself as a researcher? Where did you come from? High school, maybe another college or university. Maybe this was your first time doing a real research project, not being able just to Google or Wikipedia something. What skills did this course teach you that have changed how you locate information on a database versus just an internet search, and the way you present that information? Even though our online presentations aren't where you stand up in front of an audience, you still had to think about and script out your presentation and understand who your audience was, that you cited information in a presentation. Maybe that was the first time you did that, or that you had to understand how to speak clearly and pronounce those words that often give you trouble. What is the one skill you learned that will help you in the future, wherever your future takes you? Maybe you're staying here at Dell Tech and you're going to take other courses. Maybe your future is in a certain career field. How will you use what you learned here and apply it there? And so again, what can you take in terms of the information you learned here into your other upper level courses in your major, where they ask you to do a research project and assume that you've taken English 102? And so you should know how to research, where to find information, how to cite it, and then how to put it together in an academic way, and then maybe even to present that information in a PowerPoint or Prezi. And in the workplace, how can you communicate with others? And what you've learned here hopefully has taught you some great communication skills as well. A discussion board, how to compose yourself there, is part of being in a workplace situation, understanding what others will be reading and how that discussion board was a reflection on you. Here's an example of a reflective thesis statement. Little did I know when I walked onto the court, tennis, not basketball, for the first time, that I was about to gain a whole new perspective about how I react as a winner, how I handle defeat, and the intensity with which I approach new situations. The information in blue shows you the 3 parts that the student will be focusing on when he or she writes the essay. Notice we're using first person here. Reflection is about self, so the use of I, me, our, us is okay for this final essay. But if you look, the student's going to reflect on how he or she became maybe a better winner based on the experience on the tennis court, how they handled defeat, what they used to be like before they walked onto the tennis court. Maybe they took defeat really hard, and now maybe they're seeing that defeat, well, it can be overcome. And the last paragraph will be about the intensity in which they approach new situations. So taking what they learned on the tennis court and seeing how into the future they can use that information or use that experience to approach new situations. Think about the essay you're going to write based on the questions asked in the last slide and on the assignment sheet on Blackboard. Maybe you're going to organize your essay as past, present, and future. Maybe you're going to organize it as workplace, classroom, maybe home. This is your essay. This is a time for you to create and organize it the way you want. So keep in mind that reflection is a self-assessment. Think about the class that you were just in, English 102, and yourself, and articulate a personal opinion from that information. Who are you now? Who were you before? Who do you see yourself as being in the future with the information and the material that you learned in the course? Remember the purpose of the essay. What are the assignment details? Go to Blackboard and check length, style. We're still using APA format for this essay. Even though you don't need outside sources, you still need to format it according to APA style guidelines. And then think about, what do you hope the reader will gain by reading your essay? And the reader is your instructor. What do you hope that they gain? They have to see some analysis and some sense of self in this last essay. So you want to make sure that your reflection and self-assessment gives a better understanding of who you are as a person. This is even more important in an online course where you haven't met your instructor face-to-face. Now is the opportunity to give that information to the instructor so that they can get a better understanding of you in the last few weeks of the semester.